What in the world have these wild boars been up to? Oh my God, the scene that we are currently witnessing is a total catastrophe. When we saw the destruction that they had caused, my teammates and I couldn't help but feel the emotions of both sorrow and anger. We were well aware that if we did not take immediate action, the damage would only become more severe. The reason for this is that our entire hunting team embarked on a single mission: to locate these individuals who are responsible for the destruction, not only to safeguard the crops, but also to bring peace back to our community and to ourselves. We started our journey to the forest that was located right next to our village at an early hour in the morning. We had been hunting together for years, so there was no need for us to verbalize anything. Everybody moved into position without any conscious effort. I started looking for any indications that the wild boars were present. Suddenly, a member of the team shouted from a different location. The target was getting closer and closer. Indeed, I was able to aim and fire in a fraction of a second because of the preparation that we had beforehand. This shot hit the target. It didn't take long for the boar to fall to the ground and collapse shortly afterward. A peculiar feeling came over me before we had even had a chance to savor the victory. There was a dark blur that passed through the thick forest of trees. My natural instincts for hunting kicked in almost immediately. With my eyes fixed on the target, I raised my weapon and prepared to fire at any moment. What a bang! The frightened boar made an attempt to avoid the attack, but it was too late. The bullet made a clean hit. The creature stumbled, thrashed around for a moment, and then remained motionless. I immediately radioed in the siding, and Orson moved into an intercept position as quickly as he could. The moment the boar made its appearance, he vanished without a trace a moment later. One clean shot that was solely based on instinct. An abrupt and conclusive completion. At no point did the boar have the opportunity to flee. Given that wild boars frequently travel in herds, we were confident that additional boars were hiding in the vicinity. Following that, we started carefully sweeping the area. We were correct in our prediction that the herd would emerge under pressure. My eyes were fixed on the target as I maintained my composure and tightened my grip on the gun. Then there was a bang. One of them was dropped right next to me by a shot that was both precise and clean. After taking a short break of 10 minutes, we continued our journey deeper into the forest. Any movement that occurred inside was obscured by the dense undergrowth, which created a natural barrier. However, our four-legged warriors are undeterred by anything. In a short amount of time, our dogs discovered a new trail. Without any delay, we moved into position, maintained our steadiness, and aimed with great care. Gunfire shattered the trees as it passed through them. In an instant, another boar fell to the ground not too far away from us. The reverberation of the gunfire shook the region, which caused the herd to disperse in all different directions. A few of the nearby boars ran away in a state of panic. However, we were not going to allow them to escape at such a leisurely pace. After making a speedy readjustment, I focused my attention on a runner and then pulled the trigger. In an instant, another wild boar fell to the ground. Just a few minutes later, we added another trophy to the list of accomplishments for the day. While we were on the verge of calling it a day, our dog suddenly started barking in an uncontrollable manner. A massive black figure emerged from the depths of the forest at a breakneck speed, charging out of the wilderness. He was the one. I did not give them a chance to fight back, so I started firing my weapon right away. Multiple shots rang out, bringing the target down. Each November, Denny's leases out several of its farmlands to various tenants. On the occasion of the beginning of the corn harvest season, Turkey is bustling with activity. But this year, the joy of harvest turned into chaos when herds of wild boars began rampaging through the fields night after night. This caused significant disruptions to the harvest. There was something that stirred within me as I watched months of laborious work being trampled and destroyed. I joined forces with other hunters in the area, and together we devised a strategy for a relentless pursuit. I was determined not to sit idly by and let the situation unfold. We set out at the crack of dawn, riding our well-known hunting vehicle all the way to the expansive fields that Denny's lease encompassed. It had been less than 10 minutes since we had arrived when we noticed a few wild boars coming from a distance. Despite the fact that I quickly took aim and fired, the beast continued to charge forward as if it were unfazed by the gunfire, and this time the prey had arrived. The dog had brought the boars into our line of sight, and the net was getting tighter from all sides. This region is well known for being a safe haven for wild boars, and it didn't take us long to identify our next target, which is in line with the area's reputation. We moved quickly, thereby obstructing its travel route. I was in a favorable position, and I calmly brought the target into my sights before simultaneously pulling the trigger. At the same time, my hunting companion also made a perfect shot, which resulted in the successful killing of another boar. In a matter of seconds, we were able to eliminate 2 animals in a complete and utter instant. It was an incredible feat. The double takedown served as the impetus for our movement. The entire group was energized and more determined than they had ever been before. Shortly after that, a dark shadow suddenly darted across the field before disappearing. We ducked into the tall brush as a matter of course, holding our breath and waiting for the right moment to strike. And then, in the blink of an eye, before the boar could even begin to comprehend the predicament, a number of shots were fired. It ended in an instant, just like that. Instantaneously, the boar fell to the ground in the focal point of the expansive field. While this was going on, John's sector was the scene of a tense pursuit. But because of his years of experience and his razor-sharp marksmanship, it didn't take long before the target was eliminated in a way that was both clean and effective. Our canine companions once again demonstrated their worth by rousing a massive boar that had been hiding deep within the corn. Despite the fact that it charged directly toward us, I was prepared. After taking aim with my rifle, I dropped to the ground and remained there. The wild boars in this area are bold, aggressive, and completely unarmed, making them unlike any other boars. Some of them even attempted to charge us directly. Even though we were under a lot of pressure, we managed to keep our cool and respond with lightning-fast precision in every situation. While we were in the process of moving to a new location, we were abruptly notified by strange noises coming from the opposite side of the athletic field. A few seconds later, another boar launched itself into a sprint, frantically trying to get away. On the other hand, today it was just a stroke of bad luck to come across other sharpshooters like this one. Several sharp shots reverberated through the atmosphere. The beast had been deduced. Subsequently, we were informed that a herd of boars had taken refuge in a cornfield during the harvest season. Instantaneously, we made our way over. It was completely insane. There was a large influx of people coming out. In spite of the mayhem and the barrage of bullets that ensued, we were only successful in taking down one of them. This hunt is not even close to being over, as evidenced by the fact that numbers like that are still out there. We will return the following day. When my friend Enzo called me the morning before, he informed me that he had found a region where hundreds of wild boars lived, and I agreed to participate in this exciting hunt. This is when everything began. Due to the vastness of the terrain, we spent the majority of our time following the footprints left behind by wild pig groups. Within a short amount of time, we were able to locate the region where wild pigs were active thanks to the tracking of the hunting dogs. At a distance of approximately 150 meters, there was a small valley that was filled with tall grass and bushes. It was the hiding place of the wild pig. Among the many exciting wild boar hunting trips that we have experienced, it is possible that this particular hunt will be a memorable one for us, because we will be ambushing the wild boars in their den. Our wonderful companions, the courageous and stalwart hunting dogs, were by our side the entire time. They were the ones who lead the charge in the pursuit of the wild boars in order to exhaust them. We fired our shots at the prey when they were exhausted. I was able to save the wild boar by firing the gun, which was loaded, and the wild boar was exhausted. We were able to kill a large wild boar. In a short amount of time, a wild boar materialized in front of us, and once it was discovered, it was immediately eliminated. Especially when they break into the lair of male boars, wild boars pose a significant threat to the safety of its inhabitants. When we come face to face with these hostile boars, we are filled with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Currently, I am also able to comprehend the reason why people refer to them as monsters, since one of its attacks has the potential to cause serious injuries to an adult. Therefore, if you are also a hunter, you ought to exercise caution when you are hunting these wild boars. Oh my goodness. Let's see if the speed of this wild boar is faster than the speed at which I can shoot. All it took was one shot for this wild boar to fall. As another important skill, the ability to search for wild boars is essential. In addition to keeping an eye out, we must also keep an ear out for the movement of wild boars. An abrupt grunting sound emanated from the bushes at that moment. Suddenly, we found ourselves in a combative stance. Undoubtedly, a large wild boar with thick, dark fur emerged from the bushes. It was extremely dark in color. Instantaneously, I raised my weapon and fired it. Because of the bullet, the wild boar became more hostile and it increased its tendency to attack. A few more shots were fired by me. Following the successful capture of a few wild boars, we were not in a hurry to bring the hunting trip to a close. However, we desired to capture additional wild boars. Something was detected by the dogs. The sudden onset of restlessness was followed by the beginning of sniffing around. At first glance, it appeared as though there were some wild boars in the vicinity. When we let the dogs out, they immediately began to flee, as we had anticipated they would do. After determining the path that the dogs were taking, we sped up in order to come after them. Subsequently, we became aware of the dogs barking. Their ability to locate and pursue a wild boar in such a short amount of time was truly remarkable. A wild boar is unable to defend itself against an attack by a dog, nor is it able to flee from the dog's grasp. After successfully capturing the prey, we rewarded our dog with a mouth-watering piece of sausage as a special treat. With hunting dogs, you can go on any and all of your hunting excursions. Not only do they operate in mountainous regions, but they also do so in aquatic environments such as rivers, streams, and swamps. Even now, they are able to capture large prey. Obviously, hunting cannot be done without the use of certain essential tools, such as firearms and knives, in order to bring down the prey. We were able to quickly eliminate the dogs. In the event that your dogs are confronted by a large and hostile wild boar, you should exercise caution because they are also extremely vulnerable. In the event that there is not a significant number, the dog may sustain severe injuries. In general, if you take better care of them, you will never have to worry about their safety after each hunting trip. This is because they will be in good hands. All set? During that particular night, the people who lived in Teleco Plains, Tennessee, had a difficult time falling asleep because wild boars kept arriving in the town and causing chaos. Given the increasing gravity of the situation, we did not waste any time in putting together a response team and dispatching them during the night. Upon following a number of clues, it became clear that everything pointed in the same direction. The Cherokee National Forest, which is located nearby, was probably the source of these wild animals' migration. We started our journey early in the morning, as we always do, driving in the direction of the forest where the wild boars were hiding. Every single member of the team was completely armed with weapons, essential gear, and most importantly, our devoted hunting dogs, who are the most important partners in any boar hunt. At precisely the moment when we had completed our formation, a herd of wild boars suddenly emerged from the distance in a frantic dash. Without any hesitation, we fixed our sights on our targets and immediately began firing. The sound of gunfire reverberated throughout the forest and a bullet struck a boar in the head. Before it finally came crashing down to the ground, it had been knocked over multiple times, becoming our first trophy of the day. Our eyes were constantly on the lookout for any movement in the thick forest, and we remained hidden approximately 100 meters away. I had already loaded and cocked my firearm, which I had used before. Waiting for the appropriate time was the only thing left to do. Following a period of 10 minutes, the sound of hooves pounding suddenly became more audible. My aim was adjusted, and I pulled the trigger with complete determination. The sound of the gunshot broke the silence, and the boar that I had been aiming for fell to the ground immediately. Through the execution of a single clean shot with pinpoint accuracy, the tense wait was finally brought to an end, and an unparalleled sense of satisfaction was delivered. However, that was not even close to being the conclusion. Quickly reloading our weapons, we prepared ourselves for the next intense confrontation. As we made our way along the gentle slopes that were covered in dead leaves, we were greeted by a sight that took us by surprise. There was a sudden appearance of herds of wild boars, charging like a storm and causing the entire forest to be stirred up. We picked up our pace, got closer to them, and quickly reduced the distance between us and them. We were determined not to lose track of them. In a matter of moments, there was another outbreak of gunfire, and the troops were able to bring down a fully grown boar. I was able to quickly select a strategic shooting location after catching up with a boar that had just escaped from its pursuers. I took immediate action as soon as it dashed by, bringing it down with a clean, decisive shot, thereby denying it any opportunity to flee. We were able to bring down the boar by pursuing it with determination and taking a clean shot.